Happy Friday. You are listening to the She Heals Radio Show on Awesome God Radio. I am your host, Whitney J. It is Friday, January 31st, 2020. If you are tuning in on the Awesome God Radio app, thank you so much. If you have not downloaded the free Awesome God Radio app, I'm telling you, you are in for a treat. Hey, Lisa, God bless. You're in for a treat. There is excellent shows. There are excellent worship music, sermons. Everything you need is here on Awesome God Radio. If you're looking for a word, you need to get the app 24/7, all things God. It is amazing. If you are tuning in on awesomegodradio.com, thank you so much. Again, you can also go to www.awesomegodradio.com and click on the AGR subscribe, and you can view all the shows there as well. And last but not least, if you are tuning in live on Facebook Live, thank you so much. Hit the like button, share it to your page, and leave us a comment. I pray that you had a blessed week. It is the last day of January. I don't know about you, but January has seemed like it's been the longest month ever. You know, January 1st seems like it was 5 months ago when it really was just 31 days ago. But I am so thankful that we have completed the first month of the year, and Lord willing, we will see the second month tomorrow morning. So for the Shields Inspiration segment, my heart is heavy, y'all. I'm certain that many people, many people have felt the unexpected and tragic loss of Kobe Bryant and his daughter, Gianna, as well as seven other passengers, some of which were children, over the prior weekend. It's amazing how something can happen and it's almost like the world can feel it, right? So whether you were, a Kobe Bryant fan or not, you were clearly impacted in some way by his death, even if it was just your timeline on your different social media platforms, just kind of talking about him. And, for me personally, this has been a really difficult week. I am a Kobe Bryant fan. My late husband, Stephen, was probably the biggest Kobe Bryant fan that I have ever met. He loved him. It was his favorite person. Anyone that knew Steve knew that how he felt about Kobe Bryant. And, we actually had the same wedding day as Kobe Bryant and his wife. That was not planned. We actually didn't know it until a couple years after we got married. But even when my husband Steve died, we had yellow and purple flowers at his funeral to just symbolize like his love for Kobe Bryant. And it was a big deal. And so when I saw this on Sunday, it was heart shattering to me for a lot of reasons. And, sometimes when people, we have public death where someone that is well known, it can trigger our own grief. And so for me, there's another woman now that is now a widow, and so that was triggering to me. And although I cannot fathom losing a 13-year-old child, I have a 13-year-old child, and so just the mother in me just ached for Vanessa and for their entire family. And it is just incredibly sad, and I am sure that many people are grieving, but it led me to a few thoughts, and I want to share them with you this evening. So the first thing is, oftentimes we talk about God and we talk about all things God, and we get frustrated, right? And the reason why we get frustrated is because we're like, God, all these good things are happening, right? And we're believing God for miracle upon miracle, right? And we want the good. So we want the victory in the end. We want the miracle. We want the happy ending, right? And what we can't fathom sometimes is that sometimes what is in God's will is different than what we could ever imagine. And sometimes what's in God's will is something that does not feel good at that time. We don't even like it, right? And so, I wrote about this. The title of my book is "The Pain is Real, but the Promise is Eternal: What to Do When God's Will Hurts." So I'm not gonna lie to you. When I saw this news, article, I was praying that this was one of those hoaxes. There are so many times that they will have fake celebrity deaths, and you think that person's gone, and really someone just made up the story. And that wasn't the case. Right? This was true. And so, I remember that feeling like someone punched me in my stomach, like, man, this is awful. this is so, so sad. And, oftentimes that triggers a lot of thoughts and feelings. And even in our own lives, God will sometimes allow things to happen, or something will happen and you're like, man, that hurt. The reality is, we are not going to like everything all the time. The reality is that God is sometimes, He knows what He's doing, right? And He knows what's best for us, but it doesn't always feel good in the moment. And, it's frustrating. It's frustrating sometimes because we feel like, God, why would you allow this to happen? God, why would you? This hurts, right? I remember saying that to myself when my husband died. Like, I don't know that I have ever felt a pain that is quite like this, and I don't know if I will ever be able to recover. And when something happens that catches you off guard and it sweeps you off your feet, it is literally like taking a gut punch. And here's the thing, there are some things that we are never going to understand. And I know that may sound frustrating to hear, and it's frustrating for me too, because I have a lot of questions about a lot of things. But there are some times that things are just not meant for us to understand, that we just have to trust God, and we have to say, you know what, God, I don't like what is happening right now, but I'm choosing to trust you. Lord, I'm afraid, but I'm choosing to trust you. Lord, I am hurting, I'm heartbroken, but I choose to trust you. But the reality is, we have to accept the fact that things are going to happen. I think sometimes, in the body of Christ, we give this, salvation pitch. We tell people about God. And if we're not careful, we may have like an elevator pitch where it's the same every time. And our goal is, we want them to know this God that we love and we serve and what He's done. We want them to experience Him. But the way that we will lead them and that they will ultimately follow God is being completely honest. So that's sharing the whole story. That's sharing not just the good things, but you know what? Yes, I went through some really hard times, and let me tell you about the comfort of God. Let me tell you about the peace of God. Let me tell you about the love of God, how He covers me, how He soothes me. That, you got to tell the whole story. We can't just tell one part. And so many times, that's why people they will come to God and they're all in, and then all of a sudden something gets a little crazy, and it's like, I cannot do this. This clearly is not the same God that Sister so-and-so is serving. Or maybe I'm doing something wrong because I'm getting hit after hit after hit, and this person over here is saying they love the same God, but it seems like everything's going well for them. Well, that's because we're not opening our mouths enough. We got to tell the whole story. We got to tell about the times that you've been hurt and you've been going through. We got to talk about what we're going through right now, because then that's how people get free. So this isn't the time to shy away and to have your picture perfect, response. When you are talking to people about what God has done for you, give the all. Lay it out there for them. And let them get the real. Because the reality is, our walk with God is a journey. It is not, a stride. It's not that the moment you give your life to God, everything is perfect from there and you don't have nothing to worry about. That's not the case at all. It takes work. It takes sacrifice. There are going to be trials. There are going to be hard times, but you don't have to handle them the way that you do when you're in the world, because you have a Savior that has already died and covered your life and your sin, and He is in total control. That's the story that you have to tell, that even when my heart is broken, God is still in the midst, that He never leaves me. He never forsakes me. And even though this may not make sense, and it may not ever make sense, He is a comforting God that will see me through everything that He requires of me. So that was my first takeaway, that this is a time to have an honest dialogue about what to do when God's will hurts. My second takeaway is, social media has gotten us a little out of whack. Now, I am a heavy social media user, right? So, I understand, but I'm struggling with certain things. And so, there were some reports, and there's been a lot of reports that have come out, right? There's been so many different things that have been said. It's hard to actually tell what, is true and what's not. When the news with Kobe first broke out, there was so many false reports of who was also, on this helicopter and who was not, and so there were so many different false reports. And so one of the things that you have to be careful about is you can't believe everything you read. You got to do some research. But social media has kind of replaced the news. So many people go to social media for their information. They don't go and check credible news sites, and they don't go and check other places. They literally go straight to social media. And so you got to make sure that you're looking at the right things. Then on top of that, there is decency and order as it relates to social media. A good friend of mine, her name is Taya, she wrote this article, and the article has actually been circulating around social media for quite some time now. And she talked about, revealing things on social media. And one of the things that she was saying is, that in her case, when she lost someone, before she could even finish, making family phone calls and doing the different things that she needed to do, people were already reaching out to her because somebody had posted to social media about her loss before she had the opportunity to do that and to, reach out to people. And so there were some reports, and I'm not sure how true they were, that was saying that, the families weren't notified prior to, the news reports coming out about his death. So we got to make sure, that when we are posting things about other people, to make sure that we're being respectful to them. I imagine, if someone is having a baby, maybe let them post that they've had a baby before we do, or at least get permission, and just make sure you're careful about sharing information. And so just make sure you're doing that. Then on top of that, there is, because it's social media and because we have direct access, right? So I know I'm not the only one that, I wake up and my phone is in my hand before I even do anything else. I have to really be strategic and intentional about, don't get on social media when you wake up. That being the first thing you do, because it's right there. It's hard to not do it. We have an expectation for 24-hour news, 24-hour coverage, and also responses. And so, I saw this post that was like, oh my goodness, it's been a few days and Vanessa Bryant hasn't said anything about the death of her husband. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness, everybody heals different. Everybody processes things different. She has no obligation to us to post anything about what is going through her life right now. I mean, her life has just been altered, shattered. I cannot imagine the pain that she feels. She doesn't owe us anything. And I think sometimes in social media, because we are following people, it's almost like we know them, right? Because if we follow certain celebrities, we are seeing every time they post things and they're giving us a snapshot of things that's in their life. Sometimes it really can skew our mindset to think that we actually know these people, and we don't. And they owe us nothing. They owe us absolutely nothing. They do not have to tell us anything. And so we want to be respectful and give people time to process, and also not judge. Grief is extremely complicated. If you have lost anybody, whether it be a friend, a spouse, a child, a parent, a sibling, an aunt, uncle, cousin, grandparent, friend, whoever, that grief is complicated. And, there is, yes, there are healthy and unhealthy ways to grieve, but there is no, every person needs to do this in the first moments from grief. You got to give people space to grieve how they do it. Whether it be crying, whether it be being busy, whether it be many different things, give them the space to grieve how they want to grieve. Whether they post a lot or not at all, give people the space to grieve the way that they need to. I know this is a tough time, and I know for all of those that loved Kobe and cared about Kobe, it can be really sad and frustrating, but you got to give people time. His family and his friends and people he used to play with, they owe us nothing on social media. They don't have to say a thing. They are living this in real life, and this is someone they knew. And so we got to be careful with social media that we are not missing the mark. Another thing that I wanted to share is, Oftentimes this is the time when someone dies unexpectedly, tragically, everyone becomes reflective, right? And, oh my goodness, you need to tell the people that you love them every day, and you need to forgive, and you need to let go of things, and you need to, we have all this advice, right? And this will continue for a little while, right? Maybe the next couple of weeks we'll hear about it a lot, and then we kind of get off of that path and we go back to our normal lives. But let me just say this to you. If this has not taught you anything else, it should teach you that life is short and time is a gift. One thing about me that I love about myself is that I will reach out to the people that I love and care about. I will send a text message, hey, how you doing? I love you. If I think about them, I will pray for them. I tell the people that I love them every single day or every time that we speak. And I've always been like that. And the reason why is you never know when it's going to be your last time talking to someone. I have experienced enough death of my own to know that every day is a gift. Now, do I get it right all the time? Absolutely not. But the word of God says that God's grace is sufficient for us. His power is made perfect in our weakness. So, even when I don't get it right, God's grace can cover me. There are times where, we think that we have all this time in the world to get it right with that person, or to reach out and let that person know how we truly feel. Or, I'll talk to them another time. And, we are on borrowed time. We are on borrowed time. And what you don't want to do is lose someone and there are loose ends that were not tied up. And then you have to live with that weight of, man, I never said I'm sorry. Man, I never told them that I love them. Man, I never shared this with them or that with them. So you got to make the most of your time now. The one thing, when my husband died, of course, I was heartbroken. I'm still heartbroken almost 8 years later. But the one thing I have peace about is that I said everything I needed to say to him. There was nothing left to say. I poured out my heart to him while he was living. I told him how I felt about him while he was living. And I showed him my words and my actions were aligned. And so I'm at peace with what God had for us. And that season is closed and completed. There's no loose ends. You don't want to have them. So you got to tell people you love them every day. And you got to show them. You got to speak life over people. You got to check your own words and your own, how you talk about yourself. And what do you speak over yourself? Do you speak life? Do you speak death? What do you do? Because time is a gift. Start living now. Start being happy now. Do things now. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait until you got everything together. You need to start living now. If there are things that God has put on your heart to do, start asking God and seeking Him for wisdom and direction and get moving. Don't talk about it, but start doing it. Be unapologetically yourself and understand that whatever God has for you is yours. It will not miss you. If it missed you, it was not yours. So know that you don't have to stress over those things, but get in the business of living. Live every single day. Do something that makes you happy every day. Make healthy choices. Be wise. Seek counsel. Get therapy. Get healing. I'm telling you, I will never be ashamed to say I still go to therapy. It's what's best for me because I've been through a lot and I'm working through things. And even if I hadn't been through a lot, just your day-to-day life is enough to get another perspective on, to be able to see things from a different light. So get the healing while you have the time. Correct the wrongs while you have the time. Make amends while you have the time. Embrace the love and the newness that God has for you. But most importantly, connect to the all-knowing, all-powerful, all-loving God. I'm telling you, there is nothing like Him. And, people may think that, oh my goodness, I can't believe you choose to still trust this God after all the different things that you've been through. But I would not be here had it not have been for God. There is nothing that I have been through that I would have been able to endure on my own apart from God. He is my everything. And so because of that, I praise Him. And I can't wait to share that with people. I'm eager to share it with people. But I'm going to tell them the whole story, not just the cute parts. I'm going to tell him about the times that I tried to commit suicide and been hospitalized. I'm going to tell him about the depression and the anxiety and the hurt and the guilt and the shame and all the different things that I felt. I'm going to tell the whole story because I'm not defined by my story. I'm defined by the God that created me. And so I don't have to be embarrassed about anything. My story is my story, and it's powerful because God made me, and that's how he is. So be unapologetically yourself and get out there and start sharing. People's lives are dependent on it. You never know if when you are encountering someone, just that little conversation that you may have, 5-10 minutes out of your day can change the course of their life. What if I told you that you met someone and you had the opportunity to present them with an opportunity for eternal life? And who's to say their life on this side was going to end shortly after? We don't know. So make every opportunity count. Make every moment count. Don't let this be a fad because right now the hot topic is Kobe. Don't let this be something we do now for likes on social media, right? And we come up with a great post about respecting, people and loving people while we have the chance and living life to the full. Don't let that be something cute and cliche that we just do on social media for likes and comments. Let it actually be a lifestyle change. Take a moment now to say yes to God and yes to yourself. God, who do you want me to be? Help me to take the first step. That first step can be salvation for you. That first step may be working out and taking better care of yourself. That first step may be pursuing another job or career, going to school, doing something in ministry. It may be making a phone call. It may be reaching out to someone. Who knows? Only God, between you and God, that's who knows what you need to do. But do it now because time is a gift and you can miss the mark. You don't want to be that person that has missed it and they live all their life saying, Dad, I could have done this, but I didn't do it. I should have done this, but I didn't do it. Time is now. You got to move according to the will of God right now. Something else that I wanted to share is, oftentimes when someone dies, we talk about their life as a whole. And, social media, again, can be very ruthless because it gives people a platform to say whatever without consequence the majority of the time. And so we all know that, Kobe Bryant had a rape allegation against him many, many years ago. And we all know that those charges were dropped and the case was settled out of court. We all know that. And I'm not here to defend or not defend Kobe Bryant in that area. Here's what I want to say. Whatever we have done is known to God, whether we are guilty or innocent. It is not in good taste to throw out something that someone has done that we don't have the facts for one way or the other after they've died. He's gone. So whether he did or did not do that, he has to answer to God regardless. He's already answered to God regardless. I think sometimes we get so caught up. And like I said, social media provides us with a voice that we don't really have responsibility for yet. So there used to be a time that, freedom of speech is freedom of speech, right? And even though it's freedom of speech, it does not free you from the consequences of what can happen should you say whatever you say, right? And so a lot of times it gives us this platform that we can just say whatever. And there are many people that post things and say things on social media that they would never say in person. All I'm saying, I'm not saying you have to agree or disagree. I'm not condoning what he did or did not do, because guess what? I was not there and I don't know. What I am saying is he is gone. And whatever has happened, he has to answer with God. We are not his judge. There's a way to be tasteful. So, and it's not right to fault someone for grieving because you disagree, right? Sometimes we have to learn that we don't need to respond to everything, right? Everything is not for our debate. And honestly, it drains us when you get into things that have nothing to do with anything. So instead of focusing on him, because guess what? He's already gone. He has already answered to God. And if he is a believer, if he gave his life to Jesus Christ, that means all of his sins were forgiven and he is in the arms of the Father now. That's fact, right? We can't say that fact for some. It applies to all, right? And so if we've given, if he's given his life to God, he's with him now. God bless him. But we're still here. We still have mess that God has cleaned up for us. We still have things that we, may not want somebody throwing up in our face. We still have rights that we need to get wrong. So let us take a moment to do a self evaluation and to make sure that we are right with God. Let us check in with God and make sure that we've acknowledged that we're sinners and that we know that Jesus Christ has died on the cross for our sins, and ask God to save us. Let's ask God to forgive us for our mess and help us to extend forgiveness to other people. Let's model the behavior that we say we get from God, right? So let's be more Christ-like in this season, especially. People need to see the whole story, and we as body members of the body of Christ, we have a responsibility to do just that. So let's honor God with our words. Let's honor God with our actions. Let's honor God with our hearts, and let's be better, not for Kobe, but for us and for God. We're going to take a short break. We're going to run some ads. When we come back from the break, we are going to have an amazing guest. I am super excited. We're going to be talking about all things skincare. I'm telling you, you do not want to miss the second half of the show, so stick tight. This is the She Heals Radio Show with your host, Whitney J. Be right back.
Hi, AGR listeners. My name is Sonia Williams, and I am a financial empowerment coach with World Financial Group. We are on a mission to financially educate 1 million families by 2020. We will teach you how money works, how to manage your own money, and how to make your money work for you. And all of the services we provide are 100% free. So please give me a call. My phone number is 571-316-5877. Again, this is Sonia Williams, and my phone number is 571-316-5877.
Kira's Couture Boutique presents Land of Couture, the evolution of KKB.
On Sunday, November 11, 2018, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Great Rock Mansion, located 400 Great Rock Road, Pikesville, Maryland, 21208.
Join us at Land of Couture for an elite fall fashion experience featuring art, live entertainment, and DMV's finest fashion designers.
Tickets are available now online at www.kkb18.eventbrite.com.
Meet us at the Land of Couture.
Are you looking for the hottest styles of the season? If so, shop Kira's Couture Boutique.
Visit our online store today at www.kirascoutureboutique.com or shop exclusively where you'll find our products inside of Deity Hair Studio, located 1620 York Road, Suite 108, Lutherville, Maryland 21093.
Choose Kira's Couture Boutique, where our styles are designed with you in mind.
Subscribe to our website for exclusive deals and updates. www.kirascoutureboutique.com.
Do you or someone you may know have a child with disabilities? Are you overwhelmed by the special education process? Do you need help? My name is Eva Queen, founder and executive director of Community Advocates for You, Incorporated. Community Advocates is a nonprofit whose mission and values are rooted in compassion, integrity, and a desire to support the disabled within the African American community. We are a network of professionals, parents, and community partners who have joined forces to provide person-centered support to children with disabilities and their families. All of our services are free. Community Advocates for You provides parent trainings, community case management, personalized IEP review and support, and DDA support brokerage. For more information, email us at help@advocatesforyou.org. I'm going to spell that out for you. It's advocates, ADVOCATES, the number 4, YOU.org. Or you can visit us on our website at www.advocatesforyou.org. You can reach us by phone at 443-219-2883. And you can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
What's up, everybody? This is your girl Breezy from The Uplift Show with Breezy right here on Awesome God Radio. Join me every single Thursday at 8 p.m. as I introduce guests and topics that are important to you, because The Uplift Show is not my show, it is your show. So let's learn to live a better life together. Don't forget, every Thursday, 8 p.m., hang out with me on The Uplift Show. And remember that I want you to get joy, get love, get peace, and above all, get lifted.
Excuse me. Welcome back. You are listening to the She Heals Radio Show on Awesome God Radio. I am your host, Whitney J. Again, it is Friday, January 31st, 2020. Thank you so much for tuning in. I pray that you were blessed by the She Heals Inspiration segment. And now we are moving on to She Heals Health. And I am super excited to have this woman of God in here with me. I have known her for quite some time. We went to church together, and she's just good people. You know, when you meet someone and they're just, you can feel their spirit and they're just good people. And it's just, I'm just honored. And also, she's amazing at what she does. So listen, we are going to talk all things skincare. So I want to formally welcome to the She Heals Radio Show, Dr. Chesahna Kindred Weaver, also known, professionally known as Dr. Kindred. Hey.
Thank you.
How are you?
Good. Doing
I'm
well.
so happy you are here.
Thank you.
So listen, you know, I was thinking about you this morning. I was getting up and I'm like, she's going to look at my face and be like, what is happening? My skin is a hot mess at the moment, but I'm getting myself together.
Your skin is just saying life is going on.
Yes,
That's all right.
life is going on. It is going on. But I am so happy that you are here. You have an amazing practice. So first, just for the people that may not know you, just share a little bit about who you are and what you do and where you do it, and then we'll hop in.
Absolutely. So I'm Dr. Kindred, board certified dermatologist practicing in Columbia, Maryland.
Yes.
And we just opened a practice. Actually, our anniversary was about 2 years ago.
Wow.
Time has flown. And the difference about me is that I've trained in dermatology at Howard University.
Hey.
So that means I trained on every type of skin.
That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is absolutely amazing. That means that there's no limits, right? You can touch any face. You
Anyone
can touch
who
any
walks
skin.
in the door.
That is amazing. And so tell me a little bit about what are just some basic misconceptions about skincare?
There's quite a bit. So one thing, there's these little things that we could do every day that makes a huge difference in the long run. And the main thing being wearing sunscreen year round. We think of sunscreen at the beach.
Yep.
or-
Summertime.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But if we think about it, even the little bit of sun exposure we have over the winter times, over the years, adds up.
Wow.
So that's one. And if I quickly point out, the criteria for sunscreen is SPF 30, broad spectrum, water resistance, and antioxidants. What's unfair is that by the time you find a sunscreen that meets all of that criteria, if you have dark skin, you look like the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz.
Right.
We've all
Yeah,
had that
because it comes
experience.
on that. Yeah.
Yes, so you have to really, don't let that stop you. You really have to pick and choose and try different ones until you find one you like. For my patients, we literally carry 4 different types of sunscreens that works with most
Wow.
skin. But otherwise, just keep trying and you'll find one.
Awesome.
Another is that, so I hate to dispel this, but the thing that black don't crack, right?
Yes.
So it's true that we don't really wrinkle.
Right.
We still age,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
We age with discoloration and
Mhm.
sagging. And there's things we can do early on to prevent that instead of waiting until we have the discoloration or waiting until we've lost the volume in our cheeks, so on and so forth. A third myth I like to point out, and I'll just end it at this one, is hair loss. We, as black women, I feel, are professionals at camouflaging hair loss.
Yes.
We can put the gel in the right place, swoop the ponytail to the side,
Yes.
weaves, wigs, crochets, etc. But I think that comes from dermatology not being offered to us until the last few
Absolutely.
decades. But there's enough of us now that we can get excellent treatment, but early intervention is required
Yeah.
to get hair growth.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times people don't even associate hair loss with dermatology.
100% the
Yeah.
case. And I think that's our fault as dermatologists. Now, most of my practice is actually hair loss. In fact, we're so serious about hair loss that we have a natural hair salon in the office.
Wow. I
Yes.
did not know that.
We are the
That's
only
next
ones.
level.
It is.
It
But it's
is.
kind of like this trend that we kind of have to look at what we need and fill it. Right?
Yes.
So what we needed was to save patients from falling through the gaps between what I do medically and what hairstylists are trained to do. Any hairstylists would tell you they weren't really trained on hair loss.
Yeah,
on
I was a
alopecia.
hairstylist before I went into education. So yeah, you're not trained
Yes.
heavily in
You're right. And so what's great is you have some stylists that are getting extra training and getting certificates in trichology, which is fine. But what can be a disservice is that since the public doesn't know that there is a doctor
Yeah.
formally, thoroughly trained
Right.
in hair loss, it oftentimes stops with the hairstylist, whether that's the hairstylist with extra training or not.
Right.
But
Right.
hair loss is a medical disease and needs medical intervention. So one of the greatest myths is if you have hair loss, just cover it up or use a shampoo or put a herb, right? It's not
Yeah.
that simple. I wish it were.
Right.
I wish it were.
Right. That is very informative, and I'm still stuck on the salon and the.
Yes,
That is like super
it's
cool.
It's yeah.
That
it's
is
wonderful.
amazing. And so, getting back to, your point about, just not having the knowledge with dermatology, specifically in the African American community, that is so true. Like, I think you are the first dermatologist that I ever saw.
Oh,
And I was
no,
an adult.
I gotta change that.
Yeah, I
have
was
to
an
change
adult
that.
because and I really saw you because it was you.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, well, I guess I could try this.
I'll
Like,
swing by there.
yeah, like I'll support. It wasn't that I knew, but again, so many people don't know, and
Absolutely.
you said that so many people don't know the basic things that we can do. And I know
Yes.
for me, this is my cross to bear in many areas is drinking water. Drinking water helps everything.
It
right?
helps everything. The basic is, healthy diet, exercise, and water.
Yes.
What's not fair is you can have someone on a McDonald's diet and have the best skin in
This
the
is
world.
true. That used to be me.
They're still our genes. Exactly. So don't feel too bad if you didn't drink your water. Sometimes it was going
Yeah.
to be there regardless.
That is so true. And so, what are some basic daily skincare routines should we be following? I know we talked about the sunscreen every day. Of course, drinking water, eating right, and all that stuff helps as well. What else?
So if you don't have a medical condition, right? Let's get that category. Like your skin is fine. It's very easy to fall into myths and traps. Just use a gentle cleanser. You want
Every day.
ones with the fewest amount of chemicals in it, right? It doesn't take a whole lot to get skin clean. I recommend not anything that you leave on your skin. It should be designed to be rinsed off.
Okay.
The next thing is the moisturizer and the sunscreen should be combined.
Okay.
Okay. Now, once you're in your 30s, even if you don't have a medical condition, right? This is the person with just great skin. You want a vitamin C serum.
Okay.
So if we look at what leads to aging, sagging, discoloration, wrinkles, a dull appearance, that's usually triggered by sun, pollution, stress, secondhand smoke. To get from that end result, chemicals released in the skin called antioxidants or free radicals, and antioxidants mop up or neutralize the free radicals. Vitamin C is a very potent antioxidant.
Yeah.
So what we can do is by the time you're in your even 20s or 30s, if you're using a good quality vitamin C serum, you're nipping in the bud some of those signs of aging.
Okay.
Once you hit, let's say about your 40s, and some people even say the 30s, you want a vitamin A cream. That's the gold in a bottle. It reduces wrinkles. It increases collagen loss. It helps to keep your skin healthy and youthful looking. Real quick on collagen, if you look at your skin as, say, a building, collagen is like the walls that's holding up the ceiling. And as this wall breaks down, the ceiling will gradually start to cave in and sag.
Right,
That's
right.
that sagging that we're getting.
Okay.
Now, for someone who does have a medical condition, obviously I want you to see a dermatologist, right? Get your
Right.
diagnosis first and go from there.
Right.
But let's say you have acne and you're waiting like the 4 to 6 months to get in to see me. A benzoyl peroxide wash, 5% or less, costs less than $10. At least start on that while
Okay.
you're going. And you can even purchase Adapalene. The brand name is different. That's a vitamin A cream that used to be prescription.
Oh, wow. And now it's not.
It's not. It was gentle enough that they could take the prescription requirement off, and you would use the Adapalene every night and wash your face with the benzoyl peroxide every morning, and you will see a difference within like 6 months.
Wow. That's amazing. So I want to ask another question for us ladies. Now, I personally am not an everyday makeup wearer. I'm a special occasion, once or twice a year makeup
Yes,
wearer.
ma'am.
But for those that do wear makeup regularly, whether it
Yes.
be every day or every couple of days, what are some tips? Because I know for me, when I do wear makeup, I'm trying to get the wipes to get the makeup
Yes,
off and
yes,
wash
yes,
my
yes.
face. But what are some things that we need to think about in relation to that?
So for makeup, this is the person who's not acne prone.
Right.
This is actually what I'm going to say applies to everybody. Our favorite way for makeup to be removed is you apply a moisturizer on your skin and then wipe that off with a tissue. Then wash your face. You actually get a lot more off that way
I never
without
would've thought of
scrubbing your
that.
skin, etc. Yeah. And then also there's no role for a toner. And so if a patient has already purchased a toner, I don't want anything to be wasted. After you wash your face, if you still feel like there's makeup on, then I'll say just use the toner to pick up any residue.
Okay.
If you have acne, we don't want you to use things that clog up the pores. That's one of the ingredients for acne.
Right.
The other ingredients besides clogged pores is that it fills up with dead skin, bacteria, and oil.
Right.
So the type of like foundation we would want someone to use who's acne prone is just a mineral-based loose powder. Just a dry powder foundation is what we like.
Awesome. Again, these are things I would never think about, so this is awesome. And so, when they come to your practice, let's talk about your practice specifically. What kind of experience are they getting? What are all the services that you offer? And I know you made mention of you do carry some products there as well.
We have to.
Okay.
We have to. When you come in, you should instantly feel like you're walking to somebody's living room.
Nice.
And our practice is kind of like family, right? So I have some colleagues, they run it like, I don't know, I want to say it in a nice way, but like a well-oiled machine in that they're on time. You come in, if something's wrong, they'll take care of one problem, and then you'll have to schedule another appointment if you have another problem, right? Whereas if someone in our practice, let's say they walk in with a skin cancer, we're dropping everything, and they're walking out without that skin cancer.
Right.
So basically, if someone needs a little extra time, you'll get it, but then that means if somebody else needs extra time, they're going to get it. But practices that we offer, procedures and things that we offer,
Bless you.
excuse me, we have a laser that I absolutely love because it's safe on all skin types. We whip that laser out every day. I use it for acne, laser hair removal, dark spots, broken blood vessels. We offer chemical peels that helps the skin to have a smooth texture, even the skin tone. It even helps with acne as well. We have a hydrofacial MD machine. Now, it's not a facial. I think the company thought the term hydrofacial was cute, but it's not a facial. Literally, what I use it for is sometimes a patient's skin is so clogged, the pores are so clogged, it makes it seem like the creams that I've prescribed simply are not working. And it's not that they're not working, it's just that the medication can't go through the pore into the target like it should because it's blocked. So hydrofacial literally suctions out all the gunk out of the pores. So we're taking out oil and dead skin and makeup and moisturizers. Then we find anything we give the patients almost clears them right up. And so that's a wonderful thing we offer. But more importantly, for our hair loss patients, I've tag teamed with Susan Peterkin, who is a natural hairstylist. She's a senior licensed cosmetologist. And in the world of natural hair, she's a legend. What we do with hair loss is patients first come and do a consultation with me. And I do have to apologize for hair loss consultations. We're not covering anything else. We're not covering acne and eczema and hair loss.
Just for that.
It's just hair loss. Because I spend a lot of time with it. I'm literally taking a sheet of paper and I'm drawing out a normal follicle, walking the patient through the disease process, going over the treatment options, their side effects, what's covered by insurance, what's not covered by insurance, answering questions and all that, right? That's the first step of what a hair loss patient would experience. Then usually we're scheduling a biopsy. By the time they come for the results, we're hitting the ground running because the patient already understands the options and they're more informed. I've sat down with the natural hairstylist and we've literally gone over different diagnoses of hair loss and come up with a protocol. So we literally have a female pattern hair loss protocol, a dandruff protocol, seborrheic dermatitis, a CCCA protocol, which is an inflammatory form of hair loss that is just an epidemic in blacks at this time. And she has her own herbal rinse that she does that's anti-inflammatory. And it's a little bit beneficial for our patients with hair loss because it has rosemary and some other ingredients in it. The thing about hair loss is it makes us really vulnerable. So some patients simply stop going to the salon, right? Which means you no longer have that teammate that was watching your scalp.
Right.
So to help, that's another part where a patient can fall through the cracks. So one of the exam rooms is the salon. So literally we can close the door.
It's
and
private.
that woman can, yes.
Private.
And it does a world of good for the patient.
That is awesome. I remember years ago, I worked for a hair club for men and women.
Yes.
I was a stylist there, and one of the things that we had is every stylist had a private room with the door closed.
Yes, that's okay.
So
good.
you could have that. I mean, that situation is totally different, but you could have that privacy because it can be, you know. I know when my hair's not done today, and I'm like, I look a hot mess. Hair's not done, eyebrows not done. So imagine, you know, I do know that it can. Thank you. You know, I do know that it can be really tough for people, but it's nothing to be ashamed about. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. It is a medical condition, and it requires medical intervention, and that's it. So, that is phenomenal. I mean, I'm just like literally in awe. Like that's just amazing. Everything you need is there. What are some of the different products? Or the products that you do service? Are they more on for treating hair loss, or are there also your skincare regimen?
Literally both.
Okay.
The name of the practice is Kindred Hair and Skin.
Oh, so it's
Center,
everything.
Right?
Yeah.
So what I found with having my own practice is that I have the flexibility to do whatever it is that patients need. So in the realm of hair, the 2 prescription shampoos that are at the pharmacy are too damaging for curly hair. It's too damaging for long hair. and then it's not best for like color dyed hair. So we have to have our own shampoo that is still medical grade, but doesn't cause the damage.
Awesome.
Then we have a medicated oil that's anti-inflammatory. It's a prescription strength cortisone, but the only problem with some cortisones at the pharmacy is that either it's a thick grease, and we also should know not to grease our scalp because we're stopping the flow of air.
Yeah, that's
skin.
a long myth, right?
Right, yes. Or it's a solution that has too high of an alcohol content that breaks off curly hair, or something in between like a foam or a cream. So we have an oil. We have products for acne, products for dry skin, and there's certain patients where no matter what they've tried, short of Vaseline
Right.
on their skin is not hydrating enough. And so what that means is you don't need just a sealant or a cover-up. You literally need something that repairs the skin.
Right.
So it has its normal natural barrier. So we carry products for that. A ton of anti-aging products. So the thing that's happening in this industry, unfortunately, is medications cost too much.
Yeah.
We're paying more and more each month for our health insurance.
Yeah.
But we're paying more and more for co-pays, more and more for medications, etc. And we get calls just about every day of a patient who says, hey, this medication is $1,000. Why'd you prescribe it? I didn't know. But like at the time that we prescribe, we really don't know how much it's going to cost the patient or what the copay is, etc. We just try to memorize it based on the last patient with their insurance who needed that medication for their diagnosis. Right. So that's happening more and more. So we're finding ourselves contacting these manufacturers, whatever it is the best. Contacting the manufacturers, and they ship it directly to us. We have hair vitamins.
Oh, nice.
The hair vitamins are available online for the most part, but in October of 2018, a couple of patients came to us and said that they ordered it online, and it was counterfeit.
Wow.
Well, that scared the bejesus out of me.
Yeah.
So we contacted that manufacturer, and they sent it directly to our office.
So now you have them in shop.
In shop. And what I do about twice a year, you know what it is? We don't have to be loyal to any one brand, right? So what we do is we just sit back and we let those different companies compete amongst each other. Whichever one is the best, I don't know, vitamin A serum, we grab that one that year. And we just sit back and watch. Whatever one's the best for dark spots, we grab that one. And patients are used to us. Every year or so, we're coming in and we're switching something out because we found something
better. That is incredible. So if you are listening to the show right now, listen, she got everything you need. That's what I got from that conversation. I'm like, I can't wait till we get off the air because I got a few things that I need. But you have your product. So you're not just going and having a 5-second time. You're getting information, you're getting education, you're getting a treatment plan, and a lot of the things that you need are also there in-house. Because I know for me, it's always frustrating when it's like, okay, I went to the doctor or wherever, I'm ready to go, I'm on fire, and then now I got to go buy all of these things. And life can get in the way. If I don't do it that day, it's not getting done.
It absolutely does.
Because then I'll forget, and I'm like, oh, I think I was supposed to go do that. And yeah, so it's nice that you have everything in stock. And also, she is knowledgeable. Her and her entire team are knowledgeable about every type of skin. That's key.
It is.
That's key. For me, I love having people that look like me provide services for me because I know that you understand certain things, right? Yeah. But it's nice that even if it's not you, if you have a team that even if they don't look like me, but they're knowledgeable, absolutely, that is equally as important.
That should be a requirement.
It should.
I think it's really unfair that some of my colleagues can know nothing about our skin and our hair, but they're still considered an expert.
Yeah. How?
Right. Like,
how is that? Yeah.
Like I know, and I've said this before. When I entered the field of dermatology, I had no clue what a tanning bed was.
Right.
Right?
Because you don't use them.
Right, but at Howard University, a historically black college and university, I was still expected to know about it, be able to relate to patients, understand they get a euphoria, understand that there's other options for the patients who are addicted to it, spray tan stuff. There was no excuse like, oh, well, you're black. It's okay if you don't understand. Don't worry. No. But I think our counterparts should know what we mean when we say, oh, I'm going to go get braids for the summer. Is that okay?
Right.
Right? Or my skin is ashy.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain things
Right.
that, if it falls under the category of dermatology, if it's hair, skin, and nails, it shouldn't matter what the patient's background is. You should be able to relate, diagnose, evaluate,
Absolutely.
and manage.
And that's amazing, too, because, again, people tend to hear dermatology, and they only think of skin.
Yeah.
Right? They
Yeah.
only think of that. And so it's so important that we, get the information out there that dermatology is so
true.
much more than that.
Yes.
And that you can see, because like as you were just talking, I was like, I had like 4 questions. I'm like, oh, I'm going to ask her about that. So it's good to know, right? And it's
Yes.
also good to know even our family history, if there are any things in our family with hair, skin, hair loss, skincare issues, or whatever, knowing so that we can, be able to share. And also even knowing what medications that we may take
Oh, please.
that can, affect whatever, listen, it's a whole...
Okay, listen here. If you come in telling me you take that little yellow pill with the red stripe, I have no idea. Patients come in and I ask, so which cream did your main doctor start you on? Well, it's the one with the red stripe,
No, sweetie,
the white
I'm
box.
I'm gonna need a name.
Right,
Or bring it, or take a picture, do something.
Please.
Yeah.
At least, what letter did it start with? Like, give me something. I have no idea what packaging the
Right.
pharmacist put it in.
And packaging changes too.
And
so
packaging changes too.
So just be informed. Come ready to share. Come ready to listen and to learn, and come ready to collaborate, because that is what you are going to get with Dr. Kindred and her amazing team. I want you to give me just some closing thoughts. Maybe someone is going through, whether they're struggling with skincare issues, hair loss issues, nail issues, whatever. Our outward appearance,
Yes.
it matters. And so we can say, I don't care, we look like, everybody cares. To
Everybody.
some degree, we
Yes,
care.
At some point, yeah.
How would you encourage them?
So I would say this one actually is going to go specifically for those of you that are suffering with hair loss. I think what's unfair is that we've all covered it up, that we think you think you're the only one with hair loss. I think men did a better job where some just let themselves go bald and said it was socially acceptable, but we don't.
Right.
So I applaud, kudos to the women that do have hair loss and decide to not cover it up. I think the
Right.
younger generation needs to see that.
Yeah.
And I would love it if we could get to the point where it is socially acceptable that anyone who has hair loss and does not want to cover it up, that's your prerogative.
Right.
I wish that were the case.
And that it's beautiful.
And that is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just not there yet.
We'll get there, though, with people like you that are on the front lines and doing the work. It's going to happen. We will get there. We will get there. So listen, if you are tuning in specifically on Facebook Live, we are going to put the contact information for Dr. Kindred in the comment section. But can you share how people can reach you if they're not tuning in on Facebook Live? How can they reach you and get some of your services?
Absolutely. So directly for the office, the number is 443 Hair Skin. That's 443-424-7754. And you have to call us between 8 and 4 Monday through Thursday. I'm on Instagram at Kindrederm. That's KINDRERM. Where, by the way, each Monday we have Derm Myth Monday, and we dispel a myth each Monday. And on Facebook at Kindred Hair and Skin.
Awesome. So again, if you're on the live, we will put those in there. We will make sure that you have her contact information so that you can connect with her and get all of your needs, your dermatology needs met. We want to thank Dr. Kindred for coming. It is an honor talking to you.
Thank you
so
for the
much.
invitation. It's
I can't wait to get my skin right. I'm so excited. I am so excited. To our listeners, I pray that you had an amazing show. We enjoyed having you here. Please connect with Dr. Kindred. My prayer is that because she came here and gave time to be with us, that God will bless her with new business as a result of this show. So I'm telling, come and tell her I sent you, okay? To my producer Q, thank you so much. Every week you take good care of the She Heals Radio Show, and we thank you. We love you. To my Awesome God Radio family, I am just an honor to be a part of this family. I don't take it for granted. I am always thankful that God allowed this platform for me just to share what he has given me. To my listeners, thank you so much. It is a joy. Please share this show with all you know. Please share Awesome God Radio as a whole with all you know. Trust me, we have some amazing things coming down the pipe for Awesome God Radio. You want to stick around. Last but not least, if you have a business or an event that you are looking to want to get that information out, please contact me. We have sponsors here. You can run an ad here on the station. I would love to have you as a guest on the show. I'm sure other shows here on Awesome God Radio would be interested. You can shoot me a message on Facebook Live, or you can email me, Whitney at shehealspublishing.com. Reach out to me and I will get you connected. Let's work together. Let's collaborate. In closing, she thinks, she feels, she hurts, she cries, she prays, she trusts, she gets stronger, and ultimately, she heals. This is the She Heals Radio Show with your host, Whitney J. Have an amazing weekend. We'll see you back here next Friday. Take care. God bless.
We are 24/7 Awesome God Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to get your praise on. It's time for the Blessed in the City Drive Home Mix with your favorite mixologists, DJ Soul, DJ Craig, DJ Lamont, and DJ L Styles on Awesome God Radio.
Check your speakers. This ain't a self-help song or another makeover song, but how it made me over. You dig?
Yo, you like me? Cause I like me. Do you like me? See, I like me. Cause he likes me. God likes me. Yo, you don't like me? Yo, you like me? Cause I like me. Do you like me? See, I like me. Cause he likes me. God likes me. Yo, you don't like me?
Starting at the bottom. Now I'm here. Got some people hating on me. Guess I done came up, got my name up, my fame up. And I never would've did it if I couldn't lift his name up. Yeah, but y'all don't really know what I've been through. Getting right, made it out, shotgun out. Had a house full of clothes that year. Thought that I could get it like this, get it like that. So I dropped out of school, and I ain't never looked back. First CD, somebody came and stole it. And I was thinking about quitting, but I couldn't get away.